Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. Today is Tuesday, February 19th, 2019, and we're going to be looking at the top states to flip towards the GOP in the 2020 presidential election. So essentially we're starting this off out by characterizing all the states as Democratic states. Let me go ahead and get the preset candidates. I probably should have done this before the video. But we're just going to go ahead and characterize all the states as Democratic states. Big news today. Bernie Sanders announced he was running for president of the United States. I think that's going to incentivize Joe Biden to announce within the coming weeks. And I don't know what's wrong with Texas. I really think that he's going to announce within the next upcoming days. So stay tuned for any Joe Biden news. I found out in the middle of class today. I'm not exactly going to explain what my reaction was, but I was definitely shocked. I did make a bunch of videos with him running. By shocked, you can take that a lot of ways. I did not really expect him to announce now. I expected him to announce after Joe Biden running. I really thought that his candidacy would be contingent on whether or not Joe Biden was going to run. Considering Tulsi Gabbard and Elizabeth Warren have already entered the race, I did not think that Sanders was going to be bold enough to throw himself in there. I really thought that Tulsi Gabbard was running as a way to get her name out there to possibly be Sanders' VP. I think that the chances of Sanders choosing Gabbard as a VP has since heightened since his announcement. But I didn't really expect him to announce this, quote-unquote, early. No one really announces this early. I mean, Hillary Clinton announced back in April. Bernie Sanders announced after her, if I'm not mistaken. But Donald Trump announced in, I believe, either June or July. Now we're announcing, January, February, John Delaney back in 2017. It's absolutely insane. And, if we're just looking at the sheer amount of candidates running now, I really do think that Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden are going to be the last two candidates remaining. Joe Biden is 99% sure he's going to run. I'm 99% sure, that he's going to run. You can pretty much expect that. And also, that relates to a lot about what we're talking about in this certain video. We're talking about possibilities of flipping towards the GOP. A lot of these flips would have to do with bad candidates in favor of bad candidates for the Democratic Party, because some of these states probably aren't going to flip on their own. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to characterize all the states that are as Democratic states. We're not going to characterize all the ones that Donald Trump won back in 2016 just yet until the end. But we're just going to talk about states that could possibly flip for the GOP. So we start with the state that was the closest back in 2016, and that was the state of New Hampshire. That one was very, very close, less than a percentage point for Hillary Clinton, around 2,000 votes, and it was something to look at. Considering that the three Rust Belt states flipped more to the GOP than New Hampshire, that was pretty surprising. Virginia held its ground for the Democrats. Colorado, New Mexico, Nevada held its ground for the Democrats. New Hampshire held its ground for the Democrats, but Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania did not. And these are states that are typically swing states, the ones that I just mentioned, and then those three Rust Belt states are typically Democratic states, but for some reason they flipped back in 2016. This time around, New Hampshire does have a real possibility of going to Donald Trump, considering how close it was back in 2016 and how close it's probably going to be in 2020. You can expect this state to be one of the first ones to flip if Donald Trump was to gain any electoral votes. Moving up to the Northeast, in the Northeast, Maine at large is probably the next thing that you could possibly have flipping in 2020. Maine's first district is probably not going to flip. We know that already because it's already a pretty solid Democratic district. But Maine at large possibly could if Maine's second got out more voters, or if Maine's first narrowed down even more into the lean column, which gives an overall at-large victory for Donald Trump. But that puts him at 6 electoral votes. So where are some other states that he can win in? Well, we already know he's won in Pennsylvania, he's won in Ohio, he's won in Michigan, Wisconsin. But in another state that you can add on with them is Minnesota. This is a state Hillary Clinton won by around 1.5% back in 2016, and it was a lot closer than people really expected. If you remember back to 2008, John McCain and the Republican Party held their convention here, did no help. These 4 states across this area overwhelmingly voted for Obama, and it seemed like a waste. Also, Hillary Clinton held the DNC, and not Hillary Clinton, but the DNC was held in Pennsylvania, and that was also something that was supposed to help boost them. They lost the state there. So that was pretty surprising to me. But that's just how the election went, I guess. Another state that is possibly going to flip is Virginia. Now, that is something that you could argue as a stretch. However, this state has gone to the Republican Party as recent as 2004. That's not that far away. That's not that long ago. Sorry. That's about 12 years. And up until now, it's about 14 years. But even then, if you're looking at previous elections, 2014, the Senate race was super close. In 2012, it was a pretty close presidential race and Senate race. 2016, it was a pretty close race there. Actually, sorry, governor's race was not too close back in 2017. 2012, yeah, I'm pretty sure that Tim Kaine actually won there. In 2018, Tim Kaine won again. But still, some of these elections are pretty close, and they are still controlled by Republicans in the state, I guess, House of Delegates. The Democratic Party came very close to taking it back, going from a supermajority for the GOP down to a one-seat majority in the state of Virginia. But it's still possible for the Republican Party to win here in the state of Virginia. They just need a really good candidate or a really bad candidate on the Democratic side. Another state that could possibly flip is the state of Colorado. We know this state is a swing state just based off history. And, this state itself, it's not too unrealistic for the president. He's probably not going to target it. And even if he did, it's going to be really hard for him to win there. But it still is possible. The number of these states still have enough changing in them that it is a real possibility that Donald Trump does win in certain states here. But that is expected with every presidential election season with the same swing states happening time and time again. Over in the state of New Mexico, that one arguably could flip. It's going to be really hard for the Democrats to lose there. They're going to have to try to lose in New Mexico, but this one for right now can go to the GOP. Just narrowly, though. That one would have to be a pretty narrow margin. And that pretty much covers all the states except for one more, which is the state of Nevada. Unless I'm forgetting one, I'm going to think through it in just a moment. But I believe as of right now, that's all the states that could possibly flip in favor of the GOP. Nevada is an interesting state because it typically overestimates the presence of the Republican Party. 2018, it predicted a Republican victory in the Senate race and the governorship. Neither was true. In 2016, it predicted a Donald Trump victory. That was not true. I believe it did predict, though, that the Democrats would win in the Senate race in the state of Nevada. Not 100% sure, but typically they overvalue Republicans. And the same thing goes for the approval rating polls or House election polls. They typically aren't the most accurate in terms of how the true presence of the Democrats here. They did pretty well in the governorship. They did not, the polls were not close in the governorship to what the actual result was. In the Senate election, it was always back and forth, but the Republicans were supposed to win here, as they were supposed to win in Arizona. But the state of Nevada could possibly go to the Democrats. So that puts Donald Trump at 49 gained electoral votes. However, when you throw in the rest of the map from 2016, it looks a whole lot better for him. I'm just trying to think there's any state that went to the Democrats back in 2016. I'll probably know a little bit more once the map is fully filled in, so we can actually see it. I did not mean to zoom in there. Let me go ahead and zoom out, zoom in. Just go a little bit. I really don't want to mess this up. Okay. I think this is fine. I need to make sure I can lock the map in just a second. Move. Let me see. I'm just going to try to see if I can just hold it here. Go ahead. All right, whatever. It doesn't matter. As long as we're just not zooming out again. Let's go ahead and characterize all the Trump states from 2016. Alaska. That is let me go ahead and click Republican Alaska. That's, whoa. Did I break it? I feel like I broke it. 1 second. Should be on paint move. Sorry about that. Republican. Oh, just move it to paint. See? That's so much smarter. Sorry, guys. Just wasted 20 seconds of your time being dumb. Alaska goes to the GOP. Arizona, Utah, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Missouri, Arkansas. Donald Trump 2 away from the presidency. Now at the presidency, West Virginia, Ohio, Indiana, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Maine's second. districts. So I'm pretty sure I covered all the states that could possibly go to the GOP, and even though some of them are still pushing it, that puts Donald Trump at a total of 355 electoral votes, the Democrats at 183. If we're looking around, there aren't really that many areas where the Democrats actually can lose in, possibly Oregon and Washington if everything was right, but that's not realistic for 2020. Illinois is just not realistic. This is like a sea of red with a pocket of blue up in the north and over on the west, and then one little island in the middle, but just a wave of red nationwide, which is pretty interesting. But again, this is probably not the most likely scenario. But it's just always interesting seeing what states could flip to the GOP from the Democrats, especially with the Democrats already at the advantage. What happens if they don't? So thank you guys for watching this video. Comment down suggestions below, and I will see you all tomorrow.